This is very special story to me, and that Abhishek brought a point that how to learn from the positive thing. I think in life you get so many moments when life gives you chance to learn from the negative things also. So I used to think that why God has created negative thing. Means why not just positive? This question is still that bugging me a lot, but I got my answer that sometime that negative is also existing with a purpose, with a reason, that and if nothing, it pushes you to teach or teach yourself further something or other. So the incident or the story begins that I was living in Mumbai and coming back to Gurgaon, and one of my very dear aunt used, or she still lives in Gurgaon. And when they came to know that I am staying at hotel, they came with full family to, bring me back to their home and saying with that we are a family and we should stay together. But what people will say that you should. I didn't know what they're thinking, but I was impressed with the gesture and maybe idea of saving couple of bucks and here and there, because Gurgaon was expensive at that time too. That it was year 2003 to 2004 kind of. So I settled down with them. It was before my marriage. I was just in the process of getting married at that time. When I was kid, I used to listen that they fight a lot at home, but as soon as I landed, I realized that what is domestic violence is that I used to think that if you fight, there must be a reason. I figured out that you don't need reason to get into fight. You just sometimes need a habit to fight. And that husband, wife, my uncle and aunt, they used to fight a lot for anything. They can fight on anything. And my auntie was a professor, Sanskrit professor, and uncle was architect. So both were qualified, that living in Gurgaon in a very good place. Everything was sorted out, but they were fighting. And that I love to observe. So I was observing that what's happening, that so I couldn't figure it out a single reason that why they fight. But I figured out something that with them, that whenever the fight used to happen, there was a single sentence that was sure or bound to happen, that sara kaam main karu. And after 2, 3, 4 observation, I figured out that now if fifth time they're going to fight. By the way, you must be thinking that those 5 fights took 5 years to happen. Probably it happened within 2 days, that of time frame. That every time they were shouting, "Sara kaam main karu." I said, that what is it funda about Sara kaam main karu? When I dig deeper, I figured it out that my uncle married my aunt because she was a teacher. Because she was a teacher, she can earn money, go to school, but come back at 2 o'clock and do all the household things. So that was a pattern that he was trying to figure out. But probably things were changing, or she was not a school teacher, she was a university professor, and she used to like read and everything. She was not able to do everything there. So whenever fight used to happen, there was no cooking, no cloth washing and nothing. Everything just, it's curfew all around, right? And there was constant thing that Sara kaam main karu, Sara kaam main karu. And somehow in my head, I realized that, the problem is actually coming from that, because of that sentence. I just zero down on that. Ki Sara kaam main karu, that, this is the reason that, because if she is doing, why can't she does it, right? I started questioning myself. I took it by heart that, let me try to do everything on my own. So since then, I pushed myself, because I was also a pampered child that, I lived in hostel, that changed a bit. But before hostel, I was kind of, first child in a big family. So I was pampered on all the, front. And then suddenly this thing is jolting me again that, let's try something here. So I started doing stuff on my own deliberately. Then in office also, then I met Rudresh. In office also, I was taking more and more and more. And within 6 months, because I was witnessing those domestic, fight also. So I could compare my result that, how my growth is happening because of the same sentence and how it is actually screwing everything in there. So I figured it out that, my power, when my bosses, all the courses, all the trainings they are sending me into, the first thing trainer used to teach us that, start learning to say no. Right? If you say yes to all, you can't, make everybody happy. So saying no is the biggest, useful skill in the corporate. I said, "Ke sala, ghar pe kuch ho raha hai, yahan pe kuch ho raha hai." They're saying no, and I'm saying yes. That everything is happening. So I started going against that. That let me say deliberately yes, and that yes, yes, yes. Being bringing the source control system in a 50,000 company when everybody was thinking they're running this office for 150 years, they must be knowing about all the software engineering principle. Where's the source control? So I tried to board that a source control system, and soon we realized that everybody is using the same source control system. I don't know what they were using before. So from one yes to another yes to another yes, that I started learning a lot. In fact, I remember that, when my boss said that, Prateek, interview lega kya? So just see that, three and a half year old guy, and somebody came to you that interview lega kya? So you it's kind of that, rush in your adrenal that yes. And then he handed over me the resume, which was a .NET profile and 10 years of experience. So I knew shit about what .NET is because I was a XML and Java coder, a fancy word of open source. And now, he's sending me to .NET. But I said yes, that, because I was challenging my aunt theory that, that सारा काम मैं ही करूं तो साले एचआर की कॉल भी मैं ही लूं और अब इंटरव्यू भी मैं ही लूं और 7 बजे भी मैं आऊं और 10 बजे में मैं जाऊं rather than I said okay that I remember that he was in a hotel and said that Prateek, my wife thought I'm not coming home, she left somewhere, I stayed overnight in some hotel, so I'm getting late, there are clients coming in or there are visitors coming, can you just start the discussion and I will come over. And I was saying, what kind of discussion? He said, just go over and figure it out. So I didn't know what I was learning, but that phrase, that Sara Kaam Main Hi Karu, it was helping me a lot. So I learned so many things that, which was that there's no harm saying yes. Even today, if you see that it's the same approach I try to carry forward. That so I met Abhishek. He started teaching me design. I said yes. That why not that? And so many other things in that. So my lesson was that it's not the negative things. Sorry, it's not just the positive thing. Sometimes that if you dig deeper in the negative thing, you'll find some treasure somewhere hidden in that part. There's another thing I learned that now whenever somebody is talking that or finding a perfect match for their boy and girl or their son and daughter, and they said that ladki teacher hai, ghar sahi chal jayega. I said that there will be no washing, there will be no cleaning, and there will be another unhappy family. So if you need somebody to make earning, accept that that she is a full-time or half-time. Don't go for half-hearted approach in that you can't win both the world. So there are two major lessons that I got from that. So that was my life changing or life impacting moment through that story.